Hey guys, welcome back to Forceful Anime. If you love intense anime stories, dark twists, and powerful what if fanfics, then you are in the right place. On this channel, we bring you epic Naruto fanfics, alternate timelines, and stories that will completely change how you see your favorite characters. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Video title: When Hope Returns, Tsunade Makes a Dangerous Decision. Naruto Story. It was just a typical day for Tsunade Senju, doing nothing but paperwork, every cage's arch nemesis. And she hates paperwork. It's been a month since she's became Hokage. As the Senus was just casually looking at some boring paperwork that she loathed, she should be drinking, eating, and no doubt gamble. With a sigh, she would get up and walk towards the window of her office, looking down at her grandfather's village. Shifted her eyes to the Hokage monument. Soon her face will be on there next to Manado's. She moved her gaze over down at the populace of Konoha. Seeing the villagers do their daily things as usual. Her eyes went over to a mother and her child walk away from Techa store from her window with happy smiles on their faces. A hint of sadness would come on the busty Senju's face as she went back to her seat and sat back down at her desk, slowly gazing at some pictures on her desk. Picture of her sensei, and both her teammates. A picture of her and her younger brother Nawaki Senju. Then another picture of her and Dan. A mental image appeared in the Senju heiress's mind. Visualizing what it would be like if Dan was alive. She dreamed of marrying her beloved Dan and have his children. Since back then the Senju clan was just down to her and her little brother Nawaki Senju. Sadly, her little Discover More language translation service, video editing software, TV or video, kid brother died on a mission. Had he been alive, perhaps he could have helped continue the Sanu bloodline. With him dead, she was all what was left of the Sanu clan. So she wanted children from Dan to at least bring a child into the Senju clan. Of course, Tsunade and Dan had before. She was hardly a virgin. They only had once and so on. She's been trying to at least conceive a child with him. Then on that fateful day, her beloved Dan died on S mission 2, an ambush from enemy shinobi, which broke her heart. After his death, she discovered something since she wasn't showing any signs of pregnancy. She had ran a diagnostic on Dan's seed that she kept in the Konoha sperm bank in the hospital. She learned that Dan was infertile. His sperm was low and poor, which broke her heart further that Dan couldn't even get her pregnant. Her dream to have his children is gone. It was after that she lost the will to try conceiving with anyone. She still feels the desire to have a child. Jiraiya had been constantly begging to sleep with her, in which she gave it a shot. However, the moment she tried doing it with Jiraiya, she was disgusted by Jiraiya's pathetic tool in between his legs. He was small, and has warts all over his. She immediately rejected him and threatened that if he ever spoke of this to Shizune or anyone, she'd kill him. He was small, while Dan was between 7 and 18. There was no hope for the Senju clan, no one worthy to get her pregnant. Knowing it's a possibility that if she dies, so will the Senju clan, her eyes shifted over to a picture of her and a young Kusho Ozaki. Someone else she cherished as a surrogate daughter whom is also gone. If only there were any Ozaki men around, but sadly they are extinct. A trade secret. She had learned something very naughty from her grandma Mido Uzumaki. Her grandma Mito was drunk and had told her that Uzumaki men are way more developed. Plus with the insane Uzumaki stamina as well. Not to mention the females have that same Uzumaki stamina. She in a way is partially Uzumaki herself on her grandmother's side. It's a shame really. She wished there was at least one Uzumaki male ally. Her honey brown eyes widened as she gasped. There is one Uzumaki male alive. Her thoughts turned to a certain blonde-haired jumpsuit boy. A light bulb clicked above her head. Maybe there is hope for me, she thought with wide eyes at the realization. Maybe he is the answer, she added. Apparently, there is one Uzumaki and he's right here in the village. A unfamiliar lustful smile appears on her face as she had an idea. She has to know if Nar is developed like the Alumaki men she heard from her grandma Mido. But there's one problem. She doubts Nar knows what is. Unless she teaches him, which shouldn't be hard to do. Besides, he's registered as an adult now in the shinobi laws. Due to him being a Zaki, he likely gets it from the Uzumaki side rather than the Namakaze side. Since Uzaki genes are superior according from Mido Uzumaki, not to mention he has the Kaubi inside him, which makes him an insane powerhouse. She wonders though, if she goes through with this, will Kusher ever forgive her if she were to die? Would Dan be disgusted in her turning to a boy for? How would Mido, her grandpa and granduncle, react to her going through with this? No time for sentimental thoughts. She needs to get pregnant. She refuses to die without at least having an heir or some children to keep the Sanu bloodline alive. Her womb demands to be impregnated and swollen with life. No, Tsunade calls out. Yes, Hokage-sama. No, says bowing to her leader. Bring me Naruto. Uzaki Tsunade commanded as Nico nodded her head and vanishes in a swirl of leaves. If she goes through with this, there is no turning back. This is her only chance. And Naruto is her only chance and hope to revive the Sanju clan. She just hopes the rumors she heard from Mito are true about Uzumaki men being more developed than other men. Plus, in a way, she's helping him, too. Bringing more life to the Uzumaki clan. In return for her giving her what she wants, she will promote Naruto to Chunin. She will give him whatever he desires. If he can surpass her expectations, she will also have to break his silly crush on that Haruno girl. Since she seems more interested in the Uchiha brat, he needs a real woman in his life. What about Shizune? How will her student react to her going through this? She doubts Shizune would understand. It's best that she keeps Shizune in the dark about this. Since this is personal, she heard the doors being opened, making her turn to glance at No and Nar. Thank you. Number dismissed. Nar stepped forward. Tsunade says sternly as Nico vanished, leaving just Nar and Tsunade alone in the office. Am I in trouble? Nar asked, stepping forward to her desk as she smiled at him. Of course not. Thank you for coming on such short notice, Nar. I've called you here to take you to the Konoha hospital for a checkup. She says with him raising a brow. A checkup, he repeated. Yes, it's been long since you had one, right? She says, well, I can't remember when the last time I had one. At the top of my head, he answered. She smiled at this. Come with me. We are going to get you checked out for your physical and I will be examining you personally. She says, getting up heading for the office doors as he followed her. Will Shizune-chan come with us or could I try to get Sakura-chan to come join us? He asked as gave him a stern look. Shun has other things to tend to. And no, Sakura can't come either. This is private. You wouldn't want anyone to know anything private about your physical, right? She says, seeing him frown lightly. She didn't want Shizune to butt in and get in the way for what she's about to do. And she really doesn't want his of a teammate coming. I guess, he replied. Good. Now, let's get going, she says, smiling at his innocence. He won't be a boy anymore after this. Naruto to the hospital, taking him to a private section of the hospital. She told him to wait in the hallway until she calls his name. Now inside the private hospital room, Tsunade was setting up everything while Nara's to wait outside. She had set up sound barrier seals all around the room so no one won't hear or dare eavesdrop for what's about to unfold in this room. Besides, this private section of the hospital is labeled for shrunk. Anyone who tries going to the private section who isn't authorized to come to this part of the hospital would be put to death. When he comes in, she'll lock the door. Well, she has a stretcher bed for him to lay on for when they get it on. Perfect. Everything is set. Now, time to get him some medicine. She smiled, pleased with everything she's done so far. Now that leaves her to get dressed. She would proceed to change her clothes. Wearing an all pink nurse outfit with a pink nurse hat on her head, white stockings on her thick, muscular thighs, the pink nurse outfit clung tightly to her thick body, making it look tight on her as she wore pink shoes and pink gloves. Now let me bring him in, she says with Nur currently sitting outside the hallway waiting for Sun to call him inside. As he looked both ways, he's never been to this part of the hospital before and wondered why Sununade brought him here. Come on in, Nur, he heard call out to him as he stood up from his chair and would walk into the hospital room. Once he did, he saw Sin a whole different appearance, seeing her in a pink nurse outfit that looked too tight on her. As she held a notepad, he faintly blushed at her appearance. Like what you see, Nur? She asked. Oh, you look nice, Bachan. He says, normally, she would sock him for calling her that, but right now she didn't care. She needed to focus. Why, thank you, Nur. Are you ready for your physical? She says with him nodding. You bet. He says with his usual smile and thumbs up. And so, Sansunade checked Naruto's weight. His height and would begin to draw his blood. Along with everything else. Well, you look healthy, Nur. I strongly suggest you should start taking vitamins, she says with him raising a brow. Vitamins, he repeated with confusion. Yes, I have something I want you to take, she says, holding a glass of water and a vitamin bottle. Here, I want you to try one. She opens the bottle and gives him one. Well, I'll give these a try, he says, taking the vitamin and tossing it in his mouth and would gulp down the glass of water to swallow. Sununade smiled as he did this. So, she asked, the vitamin tastes strange. And oh, he says, feeling a strange sensation run through his body. What's the matter? She asked. I don't know. I feel strange, he says. Feeling hot for some reason. Bachan, I'm hot, he says as she touched his forehead. Oh my, you are hot. Here, let me get something, she says, turning away to find something as she bended over. She was doing this on purpose. She wanted to give him a good view of her. Nur watched bend over as he stared at her as she swayed her fat sideways while she was looking for something in the cabinet, seeing her wear a pink thong underneath that nurse dress of hers. Nur couldn't stop looking as his cheeks ringed and feels a sensation that he was not familiar with. He immediately looked down to his jumpsuit pants, his penis growing. It's literally poking in a tent. Oh Bachan, my, he was too embarrassed to even say it. She immediately stopped and turned to face him and glanced at the throbbing member that was threatening to pop right out of his jumpsuit. Oh, what's wrong? She says with fake concern in her voice, looking at the throbbing growing that's currently forming into a huge tent bulge in his jumpsuit pants. Behind her fake concerned expression was lust. Now she must see what he's like. Stop getting big, he says, trying to push his heart erection down. It suddenly got big when I looked at your butt, he says, admitting that he stared at her, which made her smile. Here, let me get a good look, she says, walking over. But Nur looked up in concern and shock. Wait, you want to look at it? He squeaked incredulously. Well, I'm a doctor, right? It's my job to see what's wrong with my patient. So, let me have a look. I can't help you if you won't show me, she says, waiting for him to do it. Do those pills have some kind of weird side effect? He says, grunting in pain. His is throbbing violently and won't stop getting bigger. Looked at the pill bottle of vitamins in which really wasn't vitamins but rather Viagra. Well, I see a side effect of swelling. I want to see it now, she said sternly. Naruto's face turned completely red as he had no choice but to unzip and discard his clothing and underwear once he did. He stood up fully erect as it twitched. Holy underscore, Tsunade says mentally with her mouth agape and eyes widened in shock at how big Nar is. She was unable to look away, looking at his swelling big and big balls. Why is it so big? Am I considered a freak now? He yelled in shock at the size of his junk. Was frozen as she stared at the most fattest she ever laid eyes on. Her nipples hardened in her nurse outfit. Hers suddenly began to get wet. He is hung as a horse. So the rumors about Uzumaki men being more developed are true. Grandma Mito, Yolaki underscore, Tsunade says in thought as she suddenly walked over to Nar, inspecting his huge length and inhaling his scent and musk from it as she firmly grasped it. Suddenly getting a reaction out of it, it twitched from her touch. She immediately pulled out a measuring tape and could see that Nar was indeed rivaling a horse's shaft. Nar was damn near 17 in. And Jiraiya had the nerve to brag about how big his junk was. Yet his is small and looks like a small pencil with warts all over it. Hence why Jiraiya could never get any woman do the deed with him. Orochimaru didn't count because he's gay. He's much bigger than Dan, she added in thought, feeling the sheer thickness of it. As she touched his balls, she could feel the cum inside them churn and pulse when touched. Bachan, are you going to help me or what? It hurts. It won't stop hurting. Can't you do something to make it stop? He says, still grunting, feeling the effects of the Viagra growing stronger. Why, yes, I'm going to help you, but you must help me first. She says, not taking her eyes off his. Wah, what is it? He asked. You are going to help me get pregnant. Tsunade says lustfully. Pre-reg. He repeated confused. Yes. You are going to put a baby in me. She answers, seeing him look more confused. Now Nar was a boy of very little brain since he doesn't know where babies come from or how they are made. No one has never taught him the birds and the bees since his education was highly sabotaged when he was in the academy. How? He asked, wanting to know how can he put a baby in her. By doing this, she says, leaning up to him, cupping his cheeks, and planted her lips on his. Nar widened his eyes as Tsunade kissed him fully on the lips as she slid her tongue in Naruto's mouth. With his tongue being coiled by hers, Nar was suddenly taken in by her kiss, moaning as Tsunade explored his mouth with her tongue. Both moaned as she used her free hand to grasp his huge, stroking it. Oh, he moaned, feeling Tsunade still kiss him and stroke his. She would pull away. Come. She guided him over to the stretcher as he sat down. Let us both help each other. Nar, think of this as training. I have a deal. If you help me get pregnant, I'll promote you to Chunin. If you succeed my other expectations, I have more offers for you, offers that you wouldn't ignore. She says lustfully, waiting for him to accept as Naruto perked up at the mention of getting promoted to Chunin if he does this. Really? He says with her nodding. Absolutely, she replied. Sure, I'll do it. He says with conviction he'll do anything if it means to show up on Sasake. This is something he couldn't pass up. He realized he could be the only member on his team ranked as Chunin since neither he, Sakura, or Sasake were ranked Chunin if it wasn't for the invasion. He couldn't wait to see the look on Sasake's face. Good boy, now pay attention, she says, undoing her nurse outfit, getting herself completely for Nar, showing off her voluptuous, curvy, breathable body. She has huge double J cups since she has the biggest in Konoha. According from Jiraiya, curvy wide hips that's meant for childbearing. Not only she has a huge rack, but her backside, she has a whole cake back there and so fat and plump that it was impossible to hide or even ignore. A small patch of blonde hair on her throbbing fat underscore, with plump lips that desires to be. Tsunade's body is the literal definition of breathable. Naruto's throbbed and twitched in excitement at seeing Tsunade's plump body. Tsunade grinned as she stepped forward and got on her knees and couldn't wait any longer. She brushed her tongue against his, licking it, earning a moan from Naruto as she keeps licking his all over. She was tasting him. My Kami, he tastes so good and salty. She thought, hearing his moans as she leaned down to suck and lick his swelling balls. Feeling his underscore inside his sack churn inside, she could tell she was waking his swimmers up inside his balls. His balls are heavy, probably full of cum. I want that sperm. She would suck him off now. Oh, Bachan, he moaned, blushing as he felt put her mouth on Naruto's, sucking him. Your mouth is so warm. And it feels good, he says while she sucked hungrily on his, sucking harder. She was in heaven. She was deep throating his shaft, moaning as loud slurping noises filled the room that they were in. Her was soaking as she sucked him off hard. She swirled her tongue around his head while resuming to continue deep throating him. Nar was panting and moaning, feeling Tsunade suck him off with her mouth. It felt so good. He was blushing. He gripped the sheets to the stretcher tightly. Mum for mum phs Tsunade moaned as she sucked harder on his say. She wants him to come. She wants to consume his sperm. Oh God. I needed this so bad. It's been so long since I've done this. She thought with lust. She suddenly felt Naruto's throb and twitch in her mouth. Tsunade, something is coming out, he says with a grunt, and without warning, he unleashed a huge thick gallon of cum right into Tsunade's mouth and throat. The busty Senju's eyes widened when she felt him blast a hot gallon of his thick underscore into her mouth and pouring it down her throat and into her belly. He's coming a lot, she says in thought as her cheeks bloated as you could hear audible gulps from Tsunade's throat. She was swallowing it. She didn't want to spill any of Naruto's precious sperm. She slowly pulled off of his without spilling any sperm as she gulped whatever she had left in her mouth. Some of his cum shot at her face as she was covered in his thick white creamy essence. My Kami, so much cum. It's so thick and hot. She thought, licking the remaining cum off her face. Oh, Bachan, what is that white stuff? He asked. He hoped he didn't pee on her, knowing she'd be disgusted and probably pissed off and would beat the daylights out of him. But she looks like that. Nar, as you cum. It's baby batter. That's the stuff you use to get any girl pregnant. But you must dump your underscore inside their womb, which is their sacred place to make babies. She explains to him what it is. Dan never come this much. When me and him had, he only produced small loads, she thought, feeling disappointed in Dan. Disappointed with his low sperm count and disappointed that he couldn't get her pregnant when he was alive. Bachan, it's still big, Nar says, making her snap out of her thoughts and gazes at the still throbbing. Licking her lips, she knew what must be done. Lay down, Nar, she says with him doing just that. As she soon straddles herself onto Nar, positioning herself above his. This is it. No turning back now. If Nar succeeds, I am making him my personal breeding stud. Where only me and my future Senju daughters can only get bred by him. So the Senju clan can expand. I'll gladly give my body to him. I want him to make my body swollen with his babies. She thought with a lustful smile with hearts in her eyes, picturing herself swollen with his babies. One hand resting on her large pregnant belly. Prepare yourself, Nar, she says. And without wasting any time, she inserted his into her as she let out a lustful scream with Nar also grunting in pleasure. Ah, it's stretching me. You are stretching my, she yelled in lust as she feels his shaft literally stretching her fat underscore. Oh, Kami, I am inside of Bachan. I am inside of her. Nar yelled as Tsunade rode his thick, taking in his whole length. Oh, Fudsike. She screamed in euphoric pleasure, feeling his entire shaft go past her G-spot and straight into her womb. She used her muscles in Herculean strength to grip that as she bounced herself on his heart, making her body jiggle and wobble. Her fat made loud claps and plaps in the room. Oh, You, it's tight around me. Nar moaned out, feeling Sununad's clench itself around him in an iron grip. Oh yes, yes, SAASS, yes, Nar, she screamed out, slamming herself onto him as she pinned him down with all her weight and strength. Her squeezes him, fully intending on draining the Tazaki. Oh, Cammy, he moaned. Do you feel good, Narut? Tell me, do you feel good? You feel so damn good in my. She moaned with a twisted eye expression as she panted like the underscore she was. This insane pleasure she was feeling was so intoxicating. Dan never made her feel this way before. It's probably because Naruto's is more pleasurable than Dan's. Dan could barely go past her womb like Nara's doing. Yes, Bachchan. This feels amazing, he replied through grunts. As he looked up at Sununade in lust, she continued to ride him, causing the stretcher to break due to her slamming her huge on him. But Tsunade didn't stop riding him. He gripped her wide hips, digging his fingers into her soft cheeks. Good, good. Let's keep at it. I want you to get me pregnant. She screamed to the top of her lungs as she started riding him faster and more harder with her mind focusing on one thing. Getting bred by this young Uzumaki stud. The tingly feeling in my nerve says, oh, getting close. Yes, give it to me, Ner. Knock me up. Breed me. Let's make a family. She screamed in euphoric lust as she felt Naruto's throb and twitch inside her as she rode him one last time. And then Ner released all his cum into Tsunade. Let out a lustful howl as she feels Naruto's sperm flood her womb. He pumped so much cum in her womb. Twitched in pleasure, her eyes turned to hearts. She could feel Naruto's Virumaki sperm impale her eggs, successfully impregnating her. Ah, Ner moaned, still coming inside. He did it. He did it. I can feel his sperm assaulting my eggs. I'm definitely pregnant with the amount of sperm he's pouring into me. She says happily. Ner breathed as Tsunade panted, looking at her womb that's filled with Naruto's cum. Did I do it? He says, looking at her as she smiles down at him, stroking his face. Yes, you did. My Uzumaki stud is promised. You are now attuned, she says, getting up off him with cum leaking from her underscore. As Ner smiled, since you succeeded where others failed at you, and I need to talk about us, our future, Ner, she says, looking at him in full happiness. Yes, let's go get cleaned up. We have so much to talk about, she says, giving him a kiss on the cheek, making him blush. It was time to make arrangements for her Uzumaki stud. He will live in the Senju clan compound with her. Teach him more about and to please her, since she's going to be wanting him a lot more now after what just happened. Break that silly crush he has for Sakura and have him be interested with women who are worth his time. Maybe influence him to knock up others to revive the Uzumaki clan. But only she will pick who's worthy to be bred by her Uzumaki stud. But for now, he's her stud until he's ready. She needs to strip him from Team 7 and Jiraiya completely while having words with both Team 7 and Jiraiya. Punish those who harmed her Uzumaki stud and had a hand in hurting him. She'll make his rank as Chunin legal since he wasn't late like that brat. That's another thing she's going to crush. It's time for the Senju clan and Azaki clan to be recognized as the village's founders here. It's time she gives this village a good sharp kick in. The two would be back at the Hokage Tower to have their talk. They already showered. Even after she cleaned herself up, she wants more. Her body was immediately craving for that Uzumaki. She could still feel his cum inside her womb churning and slushing. I has never been this happy. She finally succeeded. She's pregnant with Naruto's babies. Now she's no longer the last Sanu since Ner impregnated her. The reason I wanted you to get me pregnant, Ner, is because I am the last of my clan. The Senju clan. And if I were to die, the Senju clan dies with me. So I did what I had to do with you. Would explain her reasoning for doing what she did with Ner. Okay, Bachchan, I will admit it felt kind of good. He says, looking away, blushing. She smiled at him. So, about our future. What did you mean by that? He asked as she looked to him, folding her hands. What I mean, Nur, is that I want us to be a family. I am the mother of your babies now with you as the father. Since you helped me in reviving the Senju clan, I'm helping you in a way as well. Reviving the Uzumaki clan, she says with him blinking in confusion. What? I have a clan, he repeated with confusion and seriousness in his voice, looking at her in urgency. Yes, you do. The Uzaki clan is real. And known history fact Naruto is that the Uzaki clan were also founders of Konoha as well due to my grandfather who is the first Hokage Hara Senju marrying my grandmother Mido Uzumaki who was founder for the Uzumaki clan. Just so you know Naruto I'm part Uzumaki as well. She would explain to him about the Uzumaki clan and Sanu clan being cousin clans and a family in a way. Nar was shocked to know that he's in a clan. I don't understand how come this wasn't mentioned in the academy. Uruka's sensei always told us that it was the Senju and Chiha who founded Konoha. Nar said baffled. I believe I have a hunch on why it was never mentioned in the Konoha Academy. Surbi sensei may had something to do with it regarding your heritage. She answered my heritage. He repeated. Did the old man lie to him again? Is he keeping things from him? What else has the old man kept from him? I believe it's time you know your heritage anyway. Saratobi sensei nor Jera or Kakashi never told you about your parents, did they? She says with him looking to her in urgency. His eyes widen slightly. Those three knew who his parents are and never told him. My parents. You know them? He asked with hope. He's been wanting to know who his parents are for the longest and all. He's been denied answers on the matter. Of course, I do. I know your mother. Me and her were close. Her name is Kasha Uzaki. Sununade says, grabbing the picture of her and Kusha on her desk and showing it to Nar. Nar immediately grabs the picture and stares at it. Seeing his mother for the first time, red hair, blue-violet eyes, she almost looks like him in a way. Tears began to form in his eyes. And who was my father? What happened to my parents? He asked quickly, wanting to know more, especially if Sununade is willing to tell him. Sighed and looked at Nar calmly. Your father is Manado Namakaze, the fourth Hokage, she would reveal to him. Nar widened his eyes in shock. Did she just say, the fourth Hokage is his father? There was silence in the room as Naruto had to process this very slowly. The fourth Hokage is his father and put the Kyuubi inside him. What? Nar shouted with wide eyes with shock and surprise, but it would soon turn to anger. You mean to tell me, my father put the Kyuubi in me, which was something I didn't ask for. He's the reason I'm hated here in this village. Nar growled in anger, suddenly drawing on the Kyuubi's chakra. Nar, calm down, she says softly. Calm down. How can I calm down when I learned today that my own father put the Kyuubi in me, which is why I'm so damn hated here in this village? Nar says with anger, glaring at Sununade. The old man, he knew. He knew all along and lied to me. So did that lazy Kakashi and that too Jiraiya. Naruto growled immeasurably pissed. Kakashi was a student of the Yandere and Jiraiya was the Yandere sensei, meaning they knew and kept this from him. Yes, they knew. Jiraiya was supposed to be your godfather. Surely he looked after you, didn't he? She says with him narrowing his eyes at that sudden piece of information. Of course not. He wasn't there for me at all. Where was he when I was suffering? I was kicked out of the orphanage at the age of 6 and was forced to live on the streets. He sneered. This mates narrow her eyes. Well, then I know who's getting a new underscore. Today, Sununade says in thought, visibly shaking in rage that her Uzumaki stud was treated so poorly and harshly. She's punishing some idiots today. She would walk over to Nar and pull him in a hug. With him looking up at her, his anger subsides. You don't have to worry about Jiraiya or Kakashi anymore. Nar, because starting now, you're living with me and I will be training you, she says with him looking surprised by this. What I get to be trained by you and I'm living with you. That's I don't know what to say. Bachan, he says with a light smile. Yes, you will be living with me for some special training. I'm removing you completely from Team 7 and Jaria. I'm taking full control of your training, she states. What? You are taking me off Team 7, but what about Sakura-chan? He says with her looking sternly at him. She sighed. Nar, you need to drop your silly crush on Sakura, she says with him frowning. What? Why? He questioned, wondering why should he drop his feelings for Sakura. Because Naruto, she's weak. She's nothing but a fangirl who only cares about that brat. You think she cares about you? I wouldn't want to waste my life with someone who isn't entirely nice to you or even acknowledges you. Has she even thanked you for saving her life when Suni's Guriki held her hostage? Sununade points out while Naruto thought about that as he looked away. And no, he answered, how many times has she rejected you? She questioned. Ever since she was brought here to be Hokage, she had paid little attention of how desperate Naruto was to get Sakura's attention, only for the pink-haired fangirl to ignore him and hit him. She saw how Sakura seems to be more interested in the Uchiha brat over Nar who done more for her. Nar froze at that as he recalled on how many times Sakura would always hit him, bell at him for the littlest things he'd do. Of course, Nar was jealous. Jealous of Sasuke and how Sakura seems to be more affectionate with Sasuke than him. It wasn't fair. Not fair at all. Exactly. You don't need to tell me because judging by your reaction already confirms that she has rejected you more than once. Says looking down at him. You don't need her, Nar. It's better to let her go and move on. You have me now. You need real women and girls who will return their affection and acknowledgement towards you. Because no matter what you do to even earn her attention, even if it's just a little, all she will do is just keep ignoring you, pushing you away and be with the boy of her dreams. And that boy of dreams won't be you. But Uchiha Sasaki adds, she wasn't being mean. She was just telling him the harsh truth. She will need to get some women and pick them for who's worthy for her Uzumaki stud so that he can forget all about Sakura. She supposes that she could allow Shizune in her with Nar. Shizune is like a daughter to Tsunade and an older sister to Nar. She also treats him with such loving kindness. Not to mention she is Dan's niece and that Shizune is possibly the last of the Ko clan. She just needs to convince Shizune to help her little brother Naruto to revive the Uzumaki clan. In a way, she's also reviving her clan. And there is another potential candidate to be with her Uzumaki stud. Anko, Orochimaru's old student that he had abandoned. She and Naruto both alike, both outcasts, both hated by the village for sins they didn't commit. Perhaps she can convince the special Jonin to also be a part of this. Then she'll find other women and girls worthy. She'll talk with both of them privately about this. Plus, she still has to teach him more about and see how long can he last against her. She needs to test his stamina and get him addicted to her Sanju. Naruto looks away after hearing what Sage told him. And as much as he didn't want to believe it, is right. Sakura will never acknowledge him or see him differently, it's always Sasaki. Puts her hand on his head, causing him to look up to Tsunade, who gave him a reassuring smile of affection towards him. Don't worry, my little Uzumaki stud. I'll even help make you forget all about that little undisco. Once I ride that fat of yours, she says mentally in thought. She could hardly wait for him to call her Chan. I suppose it's for the best. He says sadly. Cheer up, baby. You are a tunin now. Tonight we are celebrating. And by celebrating, I mean you're drinking with me. I need a drinking buddy. She says. What? I have to drink sake with you? He questioned. Absolutely. You are getting your first drink with me tonight, she says with a smile. Hold on. But wouldn't you have to be here in the office doing your no paperwork? He says while mood suddenly dropped when she was reminded that. God damn it, she growled. I really wanted to celebrate your promotion. She grumbled, going over to a corner to sulk as Nar had a sweat drop appear on his forehead. Why not use shadow clones? He says, making Sununade immediately break out of her sulking and stare at Nar with shock and awe. What did you just say? She spoke slowly, making sure she heard that right. Why not use shadow clones to do the paperwork? I mean, I use my shadow clones to slack off sometimes. And he repeated until Sunade immediately grabbed the boy and hugged him tight with his face in her fat. You brilliant child, this could absolutely work, she yells in happiness. Thank you, Cammy, she thanked with Nar still in her until she heard muffling and immediately pulled him away and started kissing all over his face, making him blush from her kisses. She puts him down and makes a shadow clone of herself. So what now? He asked. We are going to your apartment and move all your belongings to the Sanu estate, your new home, plus do a little shopping. Come on now, because tonight I want to celebrate with my Uzumaki stud, she says, grabbing his hand and would take him out the office. The shadow clones left behind would look both ways and call out Nico. No, she called out. Yes, Yuga appeared. Yuga up and down. She could tell Yuga is breeding material considering she lost her fiancé hit. Perhaps she'll get Yuga to join as well. I want you to bring me Kakashi Hitaki and his two students, Sasaki Uchi and Sakura Haruno. Says at once, Yuga replied and would vanish to go retrieve those three. While she retrieved those three, Sununade decides to pull out Team 7 profile and reports and read them so that she can properly terminate Team 7 while demoting Kakashi. Sununade and Naruto would be at his apartment. When she saw the state of his apartment, she was very displeased. It's terrible. How could her sensei put him in such a terrible living condition? As she watched him get whatever belongings he could that mattered to him. At least he will be in a much better living environment, living with her in the Sanju clan compound. Got everything, he says. Good. The rest of your stuff can remain here because it's all being replaced since I did say we are shopping. So, let's drop some of this stuff at my house. Would say, Hokage Tower. Team 7 was being escorted by Nico to the Hokage Tower. How come Naruto isn't with us? Sakura asked. Hun, if I know, says Sasaki with a shrug of his shoulders. Maybe he's already there in Hokage-sama's office. Probably got himself into trouble. Kakashi mused. Yeah, probably doing another one of his stupid pranks. Sakura says as they reached the office doors of the Hokage office. As they entered, they saw Sununade Sanu sitting at her desk looking at some paperwork. They expected to see Naruto there, but the blonde boy wasn't in this room. Here is Team 7 Hokage-sama. Yuga says, thank you, Nico. You are dismissed. I'll take it from here. Sununade told the Ambu captain who nodded and vanished in a swirl of leaves. The busty Sanju woman fixed her stern glare at three before her. Sit. The three of you, she says sternly as they immediately sat down. So, what's this about Hokage-sama? You have a mission for us or something, Kakashi says. And where's that idiot Naruto? How come he isn't here? Sakura says, but flinched when she saw us glare at her. That is going to be discussed now, but right now, the rest of you should be concerned about your future. Sununade says with the three exchanging looks at one another then back at Sununade. How do you mean Hokage-sama? Kakashi asked as Sununade faced him. You know Kakashi, I don't know what my sensei was thinking when he made your sensei and in command of Team 7. She spoke slowly. Hokage-sama, he says confused by this. I'm going to be blunt about this and get it over with. Team 7 is disbanded and Yu Kakashi demoted to Chunin. Sununade says as there was silence when those words hanged in the room. The three had to process what was just said recently. What Kakashi? Sakura and Sasake said in unison with shock on their faces. Let me repeat myself so the three of you can listen well and listen good. Team 7 is disbanded, finished, over with, terminated, and your Kakashi is demoted to Chunin, Tsunade said with a glare at three of them. Hokage-sama, why? Please tell me why are you doing this? Kakashi asked with urgency. Why is this happening? You want to know why, Kakashi? Because this team is a failure. Although that's not the only reason it's getting disbanded. Because of your inability to teach Kakashi, you have a civilian girl who is nothing but a pathetic fangirl who doesn't take her training as a kunoichi seriously and only wants to be a kunoichi to impress the Uchiha. Judging from the preliminaries in the Chunin exams, she was fighting her friend over the Uchiha brat and still lost to her friend Ino Yamanaka, with the latter resulting in a draw. The Sado Uchiha you have with you is nothing but a spoiled brat that gets everything handed to him and he doesn't have to work or earn for it. It sickens me. He was even late for his match. He should have been disqualified if it wasn't for my traitor-turned-teammate Orochimaru, who impersonated the case Cage and made my sensei reconsider his decision in disqualifying the brat. Stated with narrowed eyes, with Sakura flinching, Sasuke glaring, and Kakashi looking worried. And Nar? What about him? Kakashi says, not seeing how come Nar isn't getting some sort of punishment. Nar is the only one that actually came to his match and wasn't trying to pull a grand entrance like you did with the Uchiha. And since he technically won his match against Neji Hyuga, Naruto should have been made Chunin not just for his match but his efforts in stopping Suni's Genuruki from destroying this village, which is an impossible thing for a genin to do. Yet he was able to do it without fail. And on his trip with Jiraiya to retrieve me, he defended me from Kabuto, hitting him with a completed Rasengan. Sasake clenched his fists in anger and jealousy, while Sakura was also mad that Nar is outshining Sasuke and making them look bad. And you want to know what else? Nar is now a Chunin. So you no longer have to worry about teaching Nar anymore, she adds. What? Sasake yelled in anger. What? But that's not fair. Sakura yelled. Silence, she says, glaring at the two as she faced Kakashi again. And let me ask you this, Kakashi. Why didn't you train Naruto for the finals when he requested your help? Surely you could have trained both he and Sasake since your other student didn't make it past the preliminaries. Tsunade would ask. The Jonin sweated. Well, you see, Hokage-sama, Sasake had a much more dangerous opponent than Nar did, and I needed to focus my full attention on him. Plus, teaching Nar with Sasuke would have been a waste of time for me to focus on, which is why I passed him to Ebisu, he answered as her killer intent would grow rapidly. If that was the case, then why did you have Nar on Team 7 to begin with? She asked with a dangerous tone. I saw a rivalry between the two and I felt it was better Sasuke to improve and grow, since I feel Sasuke is a lot like me in terms of being a prodigy. He answered with her still glaring deathly at him. So that's it, huh? Well, all the more reason that Team 7 is disbanded. She says with anger in her eyes, I will not accept this. I am a Uchiha elite. You can't disband my team. Sasake spat until Tsunade grabbed him by the throat, lifting him in the air, making Kakashi and Sakura look in horror. You will accept this, you little underscore, who are you to tell what I can't disband? She hissed in anger. The councils will not, he says, but her grip tightened. The councils will what they can't and won't do underscore. I don't give a flying if you are the last to me. All you is nothing but a spoiled brat that wants everything handed to him. While Naruto had to work his off to get what he earns, but he's never given what he's supposed to earn. Tsunade says, dropping Sasake down, glaring at him in disgust. Please, Hokage-sama, reconsider. Don't disband Team 7, Kakashi pleaded. My order is absolute. You disappoint me, Kakashi, and I'm sure your sensei will be too. You need not to worry about Nar. He's in good hands already, she says with a scowl, making him and Team 7 flinch. So, he's not getting punished. How come that idiot gets off free? Sakura screeched but flinched when she saw Oz approach her and grab her by the scuff of her shirt, picking her up, making her come face to face with Tsunade, who stared at Sakura with a promising look of death. Never insult Nar in my presence. And also Tsunade says, now inching towards Sakura's ear to whisper to her. If you ever lay your hands on him ever again, I'll kill you. Tsunade whispers her threat to Sakura with Sakura looking at her with wide eyes. What, you can't? I'm his Sakura-chan. Sakura whispers back, but Tsunade then wrapped her hand around Sakura's throat, choking her. Not anymore. You are not. Stay away from him. Tsunade hissing, tossing Sakura at the wall, shocking the others. Get thee out of my sight. All of you. Tsunade hissed as they would immediately leave, not wanting to piss her off. Now with that out of the way, she needs to call Jiraiya and question him. Now, hey, says a familiar voice coming from the window. Speak of the devil, she thought mentally staring at Jiraiya. Just thought I'd come by and say hello. Before I go meet my informant, he says, come in, Jiraiya. We need to talk, she says with seriousness in her tone. Having caught that, he immediately did as told. So, what's up? He says, Jiraiya, I am only going to ask this once. Why haven't you did your duties as Naruto's godfather? Says with barely controlled anger, making him go pale and started sweating. Oh, he muttered in thought, putting up a serious expression and faces. Tsunade, he spoke. Now Tsunade, I know I haven't been the best godfather, but I had, he would say, but she cut him off. Excuses. I don't want to hear them. You left him alone for 12 years. Nar spent 12 years of loneliness thinking he had no family. Do you have any idea how he felt? Or you probably didn't care because you were too busy probably peeping in bathos and doing more of your research aside from your spy network. Spat with anger as Jiraiya could have sworn he saw a fire ignite in her eyes. Wait, it's not, he tried to say, but she glared at him hard, which silenced him. It seems to me that you never bothered to at least visit Nar or check on his well-being. How do I know this? I looked into Sensei's diary and saw that you've been recently visiting Sensei, giving him reports once a month from your spy network. Care to tell me why you never thought to visit him? Or the very least, get to know him or tell him that you are his godfather and you were supposed to be raising him. Tell him about his parents. Answer me, Jiraiya growled with anger as the toad sage sighed. He knew lying to her probably wasn't a good idea because she knows when he's lying. Well, Tsunade, at the time I was busy managing my spy network and my research, he says as he saw more fire ignite in her eyes and she was covered in killer intent. So you cared more about your spy network and your precious research more than your godson. A godson your student entrusted you with. She spoke in a cold, deathly tone. Well, Sensei said, I didn't have to worry about Naran, that he could handle it, Jiraiya says. But she slammed her hands on the desk, startled him. Bullshit. You probably didn't want to be bothered with Nar at all, did you? Yelled, now rising from her desk, glaring into him as he shrunk in fear at her glare. His silence pretty much confirmed that was true. Minato would be ashamed to call you his sensei and probably no doubt realized his mistake in making you godfather to his son. Says, causing Jiraiya to look up at her, that she brought up his dead student. Nar knows, he asked with wide eyes. I told him who his parents are. I told him everything, even about you being his godfather, Tsunade confirmed with Jiraiya looking mortified. Why did you tell him? He wasn't ready to know such things about his parents at the Uzumaki, he says, but was suddenly lifted in the air by the scruff of his clothing and was slammed into the wall looking at her angry glare. After what he's been through, do you know that Naruto was abused? Abused by the very shinobi and villagers, both his parents risked their lives for saving this underscore whole of a village. Thinking he had no one who would give a damn about him, she growled, keeping him pinned to the wall. Apply pressure close to forming a new hole in her office wall. Jiraiya looked away. No, I didn't, he admits as he could feel her tight grip. Why was the Uzumaki clan's knowledge or history of it removed, Jiraiya? She demanded. It was the only way for Naruto not knowing about his clan. If Nar knew, he would have traced the dots and would began asking who his parents are. It was removed right after the days of his birth. He answered as Tsunade looked livid. So Konoha's current generation just believes the Uchiha and Sanu founded this village. Wrong. The Uzumaki clan also helped founded this village, knowing my grandfather married my grandmother, therefore making his cousin clans. Sensei and those old bags had no right to do that. She growled as he winced. I'm going to correct Manado's mistake along with Sensei's mistake. You will not go anywhere near Naruto ever again. Your guardianship as his godfather is terminated. Tsunade says with him looking up now. Wait a minute, Tsunade. You can't do this. He's my godson, too, he says in protest until she grabbed his throat, choking him and bringing him face to meet her eyes. You lost all rights to being his godfather. I don't want you anywhere near him at all. He's my responsibility now, she growled, slamming him back on the wall hard, creating a spiderweb like Shatterpoint. But I'm supposed to train him, make him an apprentice. He's already signed the Toad summoning contract. The Toads will be very displeased. Jiraiya says in protest, you are not going to train him anymore. I will. I can see that you will no doubt waste his potential like Kakashi has done. He's going to be my apprentice whether you like it or not. She would toss him across the room, tossing him to a nearby cabinet as she walked up to him, cracking her knuckles and fists. Jiraiya looked up in horror, seeing the murderous intent in her eyes. Please, give me another chance. Don't do this. Don't rough me up too badly. I have to see my informant, he pleaded, seeing her get closer. Do not worry, Jiraiya. I'm not going to kill you. You might as well wish that I did. And you are going to tell me who is your informant and where can I meet Oshi so I can meet either of them personally. This is for Nar. She let out a roar of rage and channeled chakra into her fists and began delivering a barrage of ballistic punches on Jiraiya's body as his howls of pain and screaming echoed throughout Konoha. Back with Nar and Tsunade, the real Tsunade is currently in a lingerie store. With the real Nar sitting outside waiting for her, she took him shopping to grab a couple of things, but she wanted to stop at this lingerie store. She is currently in the fitting room, trying out various outfits that will entice her Uzumaki stud. She is currently wearing a white loincloth that drapes her exposed entrance along with showing a lot of her backside. She was topless. She wondered would this arouse her stud. She reaches for her second outfit that she picked. It was a bikini cowgirl outfit. A bra with cow prints along with a thong with matching colors, cow stockings, cow sleeves. She even wore cow ears and horns on her head. She shoved a coattail butt plug in her, a cowbell around her neck. As she posed in front of the mirror, getting on all fours like a cow would, a mental image appeared in her mind, seeing herself as a cow on the farm, alone in the grassy meadows. Then she sees a blonde-haired hung bull approaching her, and that bull would be Nar as he wishes to mate with her and breed her. Moo! Chaos Tsunade moaned as the breeding bull. Naruto plowed her from behind and would proceed to breed Chaos Tsunade. In her little fantasy, Chaos Tsunade would be heavily pregnant, feeling the strong kicks kick her belly. Moo bellowed Chaos Tsunade, rubbing her swollen belly with her breeding bull approaching behind her with his hands on her heaving lacting that lactated milk constantly ever since she has been impregnated by Naruto the bull. Chaos Tsunade looked at her lover maid in affection as he leaned down to suck her nipples, drinking her milk, which made her moan in the process. Moo! Chaos Tsunade moaned, smiled lustfully at the little fantasy she had. Her and her daughters will be Sendu cows for the Uzaki breeding bull. Shall both these outfits? She'll definitely wear these on their nights. On my way out, Narut, she calls out. Back with Tsunade and Jiraiya. The sound of punching, kicking, loud thuds, smacking echoed along with the sounds of bones being crushed or snapped as Jiraiya's screams of pain could be heard. Kept punching the daylights out of Jiraiya as she slammed his face against the wall and then made him face her. She would give him her left hook as she continued to beat him to the point of death, but would heal him just to keep him from actually dying. Had stopped. Her fists were covered in Jiraiya's blood as she glared at a beaten pulp Jiraiya whose face had black eyes deformed from her punching his skull in as the Toad Sage groaned in pain from Tsunade who beaten him senseless and to the point of death. He's never pissed her off this much. And the only time he did was when he peeped on her. Please, no more, he begged. Tell me where will I meet your informant? I'm going there myself, she growled, pressing her foot on his crotch. Okay, I'll tell you. Just please no more, he replied as he would begin to tell Tsunade where to meet his informant. Thank you, Jiraiya. Now get thee out, she hissed, grabbing him and tossing him right out of the window, sending him through 3 buildings. Now with that over with, she can make plans to meet his informant tonight. Somewhere on the border of Konoha, she'll take Yuga as her escort. Sanju estate, Naruto and Tsunade entered the estate of the Sanju clan. Tsunade-sama, is that you? Says the voice of Shizune. Yes, it's me, Tsunade confirms. Hi big sis Shizune. Nar greets. Nar, hi, what are you doing here? Shizune asked. Nar will be living with us for now on Shizune. As of right now, we are a family, Tsunade declares with a smile. Oh, how wonderful. Come, let me show you your room. Come follow me, Narokun. Shun says as she gestured Naruto to follow, in which he did. Tsunade smiled. Sure, the guest room can be his room for the time being. But for every night, he sleeps with her. Now she has to figure out how can she convince Shizune to join. How could this have happened? The former Jonin was now at the memorial stone thinking on how could this have happened. Where did he go wrong? This has to be some sort of nightmare, right? Team 7 terminated and he is demoted to Chunin. How will he explain this to the others that he's been demoted with Sasuke? How dare that Sanju deprive him his vengeance? She has no right to do it. It's his destiny to get revenge on Itachi. How will he grow stronger? How could that Dobbiner get off so easily and get promoted to Chunin? It isn't fair. Maybe that Sanju probably is doing this out of a grudge against the Uchiha clan being more favored than the Sanu clan. That has to be the case. He must go to the councils and elders for this because he will not stand for any of this. With Sakura, she walked aimlessly onto the streets, head hung low and crying. She's no longer a kunoichi. She's now a reduced civilian like Sasuke. Her beloved Sasuke is visibly upset by this turn of events. How could this have happened? Sakura asked herself as she then thought back on Nar. Nar, that blonde idiot. He probably did this out of complete jealousy. That idiot is definitely the cause of this. He was always jealous of Sasuke sparred inner Sakura. Sakura clenched her fists in anger now knowing who's to blame for all of this. Nar, he was always jealous of her Sasuke that he chose to do this all because she constantly chooses Sasuke over him. She needs to do something. She would proceed to go look for the blonde idiot who ruined everything for her because of his jealousy. She immediately paused, remembering Tsununade's threat. If you ever lay your hands on him ever again, I'll kill you. Whispers her threat to Sakura with Sakura looking at her with wide eyes. And that's it for today's story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Forceful Anime for more amazing fanfics and anime content. Comment below what story you want to see next. Your idea might be our next video. Until then, stay powerful, stay anime. And I'll see you in the next one.